Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, welcome to all devotees. Now we start today's Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tata Jayam Udiret नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवती नैष्टिकी. हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagwatam Canto 11 chapter 27 shloka number 14 to 23. अस्थिरायां विकल्प स्यात् स्थण्डिले तु भवेद्वयम् स्नपनं तु अविलेप्यायाम् अन्यत्र परिमार्जनम् द्रव्यैः प्रसिद्धैः मत्यागः प्रतिमा आदिषु अमायिनः भक्तस्य च यथा लब्धैः हृदि भावेन च एवैः. स्नानालंकरणं प्रेष्टम् अर्चायाम् एव तत् तु उद्धव स्थण्डिले तत्विन्यास वह्नौ अज्य अप्लुतं हविः सूर्ये च अभ्यर्हणं प्रेष्टं सलिले सलिल आदिभिः श्रद्धया उपावृतं प्रेष्टं भक्तेन मम वार्यपि. भूरि अपि अभूत उपावृतं न मे तोषाय कल्पते गंध धूप सुमनसः दीप अन्न आद्यं च न किं पुनः शुचिः संवृत संभार प्राक्दर्भेः कल्पित आसनः आसीना प्राक् उद्ग वार्चेत वा अर्चेत अर्चायां तोत सम्मुखः कृतन्यासां मत अर्चां पाणिनां भृजेत् कलशं प्रोक्षणीयं च यथावत् उपसादयेत् तद्भिः देवयजनं द्रव्याणि आत्मानम् एव च प्रोक्ष पात्राणि त्रीणि अद्भिः ते द्रव्यै च साधयेत्. पाद्या अर्ध्या च अर्चमनीयाम् अर्थं त्रीणि पात्राणि देशिक हृदा शीर्ष्णा अथ शिखया गायत्र्या च विमन्त्रयत् पिण्डे वायु अग्नि संशुद्धे हृत्पद्मस्तां परं मम अन्वीं जीवकलां ध्यायेत् न आदन्ते सिद्ध भाविताम्. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The deity that is temporarily established can optionally be called forth and sent away. But these two rituals should always be performed when the deity is traced upon the ground. Bathing should be done with water except if the deity is made of clay, paint or wood, in which cases a thorough cleansing without water is enjoined. One should worship me in my deity form by offering the most excellent paraphernalia. But if devotee completely freed from material desire may worship me with whatever he is able to obtain, and may even worship me within his heart with mental paraphernalia. In worshipping the temple deity, my dear Uddhava, bathing and decoration are the most pleasing offering for the deity traced on sacred ground. The process of Tattva Vinyas is most dear. Oblations of sesame and barley soaked in ghee are the preferred offering to the sacrificial fire, whereas worship consisting of upasthan and arghya is preferred for the sun. One should worship me in the form of water by offering water itself. Actually, whatever is offered to me with faith by my devotee, even if only a little water, is most dear to me. Even very opulent presentation do not satisfy me if they are offered by non-devotees. But I am pleased by any insignificant offering made by my loving devotees, and I am certainly most pleased when nice presentations of fragrant oil, incense, flowers, and palatable foods are offered with love. After cleansing himself and collecting all the paraphernalia, the worshipper should arrange his own seat with blades of kusha grass, whose tips point eastward. He should then sit facing either east or north, or else, if the deity is fixed in one place, he should sit directly facing the deity. The devotee should sanctify the various parts of his body by touching them and chanting mantras. He should do same for my deity form. And then with his hands, he should clean the deity of old flowers and the remnants of previous offering. He should properly prepare the sacred pot and the vessels containing water for sprinkling. Then with the water of that prokshaniya vessel, he should sprinkle the area where the deity is being worshipped, the offerings that are going to be presented, and his own body. Next, he should decorate with various auspicious substances, 3 vessels filled with water. The worshipper should then purify those 3 vessels. He should sanctify the vessel holding water for washing the Lord's feet by chanting Rudaya Namaha. Rudaya Namaha. The vessel containing water for Argya by chanting Shirase Swaha, and the vessels containing water of washing the Lord's mouth by chanting Shikha Yai Vasata. Also, the Gayatri mantra should be chanted for all 3 vessels. The worshipper should meditate upon the subtle form which is situated within the worshipper's own body, now purified by air and fire. As the source of all living entities, this form of the Lord is experienced by self-realized sages in the last part of the vibration of the sacred syllable Om. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Various classes of devotees worship the deity of the personality of Godhead according to their various stages of faith in Lord. An advanced devotee of Lord Krishna understand his eternal loving relationship with the Lord, and seeing the deity as the Lord himself establishes an eternal relationship with the deity based on loving servitude to him. Understanding Lord Krishna to be the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, a faithful devotee makes a permanent arrangement for deity worship, installing the Lord's form made of, for example, stone, wood, or marble. The Shaligram Shila is considered to be automatically installed even without the formal ceremony, and so it is forbidden to call the deity with mantras or ask the deity to leave. On the other hand, if one prepares a deity form by drawing on sanctified ground or by constructing a sand image, one must call the deity with mantras and then ask the deity to leave the external form, which will soon be demolished by the natural elements. The general principle is that a pure devotee of the Lord understands his relationship with the deity to be eternal. The more one surrenders in loving devotion to the deity, the more one can understand the supreme personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna is a person, but he is the supreme person. Possessing his own unique feeling, one can easily please the Lord by devotional service offered to his deity form. By pleasing the Lord, one can gradually progress in the mission of human life and eventually go back home back to Godhead, where the deity personally appears before the devotee and welcomes the devotee to his personal abode, known throughout the world as the kingdom of God. Our devotee will still troubled by material desire tends to see the world as an object of sense gratification. Such a neophyte devotee may misunderstand the Lord's supreme position and may even consider the Lord an object of his own enjoyment. Hence, the neophyte must offer opulent paraphernalia to the deity so that he may constantly remember that the deity is the supreme enjoyer and that he, the neophyte, is simply the worshipper and is actually meant for the deity's pleasure. In contrast, as advanced devotee, one fixed in Krishna consciousness never forgets that the Supreme Lord is the actual enjoyer and the control of everything. The pure deity offers his unalloyed love to the personality of Godhead along with whatever paraphernalia is easily obtained. A Krishna conscious devotee does not waver in his devotion to Lord Krishna, and even with the simplest offering, he completely satisfies the personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present everywhere, and Vedic culture prescribes various ritualistic methods for worshipping the Lord in his various manifestations. The principal items is the faith and devotion of the worshipper, without which everything else is useless, as the Lord described in the next verses. The Lord has stated in the previous verses that even a little water offered with love and devotion gives him great pleasure. Therefore, the words Kim Punaha indicate the Lord's complete happiness when a suitably opulent offering is made with love and devotion. But an opulent offering made by non-devotee cannot please the Lord. As Srila Goswami explains, the rules and regulations concerning deity worship and the listing of offenses against the deities are all meant for helping one avoid precisely this kind of disrespectful or neglectful attitude towards the personality of God in his deity form. In fact, all offenses against the deity are based upon irreverence and disregard for the Lord's position as master and thus upon disobedience to his order. Since one must worship the deity with reverence and one should offer opulent presentations to the deity with love. For such presentation, both enhance the respectfulness of the worshipper and help him avoid offenses in his worship. The word Sambrata, Sambhara means that before beginning the deity worship, one should place all necessary paraphernalia nearby. In this way, one cannot have to get up continually to search for different items. If the deity has been permanently installed, then one should sit facing the deity. Before beginning the process of worship mentioned here, one should offer obeisance to one's spiritual master, the deity, and other worshipable personalities. Srila Sridhar Swami gives a reference from Vedic literature stating that the water meant for bathing the feet should be combined with millet seeds, durva grass mixed in water, Vishnu Kranta flowers, and other items. The water used for arghya should include the following 8 items: fragrant oil, flour, unbroken barley corns, husked barley corns, the tips of kusha grass, sesame seeds, mustard seeds, and durva grass. The water for sipping should include jasmine flowers, ground cloves, and cocoa berries. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the pranav or onkara has 5 parts: A, U, M. The nasal bindu and the reverberation nad. Liberated souls meditate upon the Lord at the end of that reverberation. Thus end the purpose. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanaashaya चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवान् च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादार सगुण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम। Today we continuing Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 11, Chapter 27, the process of deity worship. From shloka number 14 to 24, we try to understand. According to naming chapters, the process of deity worship, how we do the deity worship, which paraphernalia is necessary, what is the procedure, and how we do fever himself and also Archa Vigraha, how to care that, and what is the view of the Srila Sridhar Swami. All these are here describing nicely. Prabhuji will tell you in detail. Pancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna dandat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So we have understood yesterday through Krishna Bhagwan himself when he is explaining to Uddhava that the deity can be in 8 varieties. So the deity form of Lord needs to be established first, as we talked yesterday. Either it could be a temporary arrangement or it could be a permanent. But then, once it is permanent, wherein a pran pratishtha has been done, the deity ideally cannot be sent away. So that is why prana pratishtha mahotsava are very, very important. And you have to be very, very careful before arriving at this particular decision. Ideally, it can be done temporarily, because then if you move or if the temple premises move, if the center moves, they can be done. So what happens here is they are always dressed upon the ground. So the first activity is having a bath with water. But if the deity is made of, say, clay, paint, or wood, then cleansing without water is enjoined. Otherwise, it has to be thorough cleaning with water. That is why when you are doing, say, Jagannath Ji's worship in temple, you do not put water completely on him every day. You scrub him because it is finally made of wood. But during the Mahotsava, it is completely Abhishek is. So whatever way we decide, what Krishna says is that we should give best of the paraphernalia to him. Excellent paraphernalia. But again, the devotee is free. He has to give what he is able to obtain. And if he is not able to obtain anything, then he can do it with mentally as well. So Prabhupada ji in the purport has explained how deity worship classes need to be attended by the Grihasthas. Because it is mentioned in the Shastras that a Grihastha should always install a deity in his house, so that Krishna becomes the center of all your activities for the whole of the family. And that is why you have so many deity worship classes which are going on from our Mayapur Academy of Culture and Education as well. So would request all those who are interested, they can join the Mayapur deity worship classes which are available every month. Those classes are being held. So you can always join them, or we can join the local temple as well for getting necessarily certified. What needs to be importantly to be remembered is to ensure that we have to please the Lord by devotional service. By pleasing the Lord, we can gradually progress in the mission of human life and eventually go back home, back to Godhead, where Krishna will himself appear before us and welcome us in his personal abode. So that is what benefit we get the moment we start offering deity worships. Because he has by that time become used to our attitude towards him. However, at times, maybe say suppose the person is say has visited a XYZ place where we cannot have deities, then that can be done in exceptional situations, mental paraphernalia as well. So ideally, when you are newcomer as a neophyte, we should offer opulent paraphernalia so that we can constantly remember that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and that we is are only a worshipper and meant for deity's pleasure. But the moment our fixedness in Krishna consciousness increases, and we always remember that Krishna is actual enjoyer and controller, at that time, when we have learned to offer our unalloyed love to the God, then we can serve Krishna with whatever is the paraphernalia easily available. Because a bhakta can never waver in his devotion to Krishna, and even with simplest of the offering, he can please Krishna. And that is why Krishna has said, Patram Pusham Phalam Toyam Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati. So that bhakta offered by bhakta bhaktya. So the moment we have reached that level, Krishna is satisfied with whatever we are able to offer to him. So Krishna is saying that how do we actually do it? Because bathing and decoration are the most pleasing offerings, is what Krishna says. So once we have put the deities on a sacred ground, what we need to do is Tattva Vinyasa. So we should give sesame, barley soaked in ghee in the yajna fire which we are lighting, or it could be upasthana and arghya, which is preferred for sun. So what is important is we worship Krishna in the form of water by offering water itself. Even if only a little water is offered, Krishna is satisfied with it. So you have to reach that level of full satisfaction for Krishna's service. Even opulent presentations may not always be pleaseful to Krishna if they are offered by non-devotees, because he is pleased by what is offered by loving devotees. And if it is presented in fragrant oil, incense, flowers, palatable foods, then he is very pleased, most pleased. So we have to look at it from that angle. If we have the capability, we should offer most opulent things to the Lord, because that gives him most pleasure. We must worship deity with reverence. That is very important. That our respectfulness should be seen, and we have to avoid all kinds of offenses. So we should cleanse ourselves, collect the paraphernalia, arrange proper place. Ideally, we should worship on the pusha grass. So we prepare a mat of pusha grass, which ideally points eastward. Then we ideally face east or north. And if DT is fixed on one place, then we should sit directly facing the DT. So Sambrata Sambara. So even before beginning the worship, we should have all the things placed. That is very important. That is why I say suppose you are doing it in temple, then you will have his bathing clothes, everything taken, the water prepared, the new clothes, the inner garments, the decoration clothes, the garlands, and his jewelry kept, and then you will start the worship. So we should, after we have cleansed ourselves, kept everything ready, we should sanctify various parts of our body by chanting the purification mantras and by chanting the Achmana mantra. So what I'll do is I'll share the Achman mantras link to you, And there's a separate video which I have created for how to do Achmana. I'll share that link to you. Similarly, then we should cleanse with mantras by touching the various parts of the body of the Lord. And then clean the deity of old flowers, remnants of other offerings, properly prepare the place, and have the water for Krishna. But before beginning, we should always offer first obeisances to spiritual master, take the permission, then from Guru Parampara, we continue taking the permission, and in this way, having taken permission from all, then we start actual worship. The water of the vessel, we should sprinkle in the area where the deity is being worshipped, the offerings where we are going to be presenting, and then we should decorate various substances. So this is very important to be remembered when you are doing in a temple setting. At home, it may not be necessary, but then we have to remember how to prepare the arghya water. Water for sipping can also include jasmine flowers, ground cloves, and cocoa berries. After the worshipper has purified the vessels, he should sanctify the vessel holding water for washing the Lord's feet by chanting Hridayal Namaha. So the vessel containing water for arghya by chanting Shirase Swaha. And then the water which we have prepared for washing the Lord's mouth by chanting Shikhaye Vasatah. And then also Gayatri mantra can be chanted for all the three vessels. So that we have to remember. We should always meditate upon the subtle form which is situated with us, that is Paramatma, and which is purified by air and fire as the source of all living entities. So this form of Lord can be experienced only by self-realized sages. And for that, we need to concentrate on the vibration of the sacred syllable Om. So Sridhar Swamiji has mentioned that the Onkara has 5 parts. Om. Ah, that is 5 parts. So we have to remember how to do this Onkara properly. U, Ma, and then the reverberations. So this is what Krishna has explained in this
Time is
chapter
completed.
till now. So thank you very much. We'll continue our discussions tomorrow onwards.